Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Huge AEW Dynamite before AEW Revolution tonight with the huge announcement living up to the hype, as had been kind of speculated and rumored upon. It had less to do with the streaming service, which I kind of feel is still on its way.
It will, but I don't know if that necessitates a live Tony Khan announcement, you know?
Yeah, it would have been kind of underwhelming if he said, we're going to be on HBO Max.
Yeah.
But what did necessitate Tony Khan from channeling his inner Bernie Sanders, I always love when he gets on the mic because he gets real loud.
Yeah.
Tony Khan is now the owner of Ring of Honor, which is pretty crazy on one hand, given that, you know, over the past couple of years, there have been all sorts of rumors about a potential sale of Ring of Honor, and
or
eventually,
at least a tape library,
or at least a tape library. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it ended up now in the hands of Tony Khan. Mm-hmm. There was a press release that went out with this announcement that, you know, didn't really give too many details in terms of what sort of like things we can expect from a current Ring of Honor brand.
But it had a lot about what we can expect about their archive of footage. That was predominantly the focus of the press release was talking about ways for them to get that out there for people to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and a couple of the rumors, I believe, courtesy of Andrew Zarian in advance of tonight's Dynamite about what this announcement could be. One of them was streaming service deal with HBO Max. Mm-hmm. Of course, HBO Max, part of the Warner Media family. Mm-hmm. Excalibur referenced Euphoria tonight.
Yes, he did.
So it would make sense in that respect. We mentioned it earlier today. You did HBO Max get into the live sports business with some soccer. So if they want to get the pro wrestling business, they got all AEW stuff plus all of Ring of Honor stuff. That's a pretty vast vault of wrestling footage going back 20 years.
Well, as they state in their little press release here, given that now NXT 1.0, which used to be, you know, the home to many former Ring of Honor stars, most of those have migrated over to AEW. And as the press release states, over more than 40 members of the AEW roster have appeared in Ring of Honor during their careers. So, yeah, I mean, this is an incredibly smart move. Because they can, of course, start releasing VHS tapes and DVDs.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, like, you know, like we saw tonight, even like what we saw tonight with MJF directly referencing, quoting a popular CM Punk promo from Ring of Honor that kicked off the Summer of Punk. That right now, I mean, I'm sure I could probably find it somewhere. But to be able to really, you know, monetize it, to be able to air footage whenever they want to, you know, what's the word that they always use when it comes to, I forget what it is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's not monetized, it's a different word.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. It's escaping me right now.
Yeah, well, they want to take advantage of having the history of a huge number of their most popular wrestlers. Leverage. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. When they want to leverage that stuff with their most popular wrestlers, now they can do that, you know, at will. So it's a very interesting purchase. And, you know, the bigger question, because, I mean, the library is the obvious thing. We know what they're going to do.
That's the most obvious benefit of this deal for Tony Khan and AEW. But, as far as the future of Ring of Honor as a touring wrestling brand, we don't know. They have Supercard of Honor that's happening Mania weekend in the Dallas area. They've already announced people are going to be there. They've announced at least one match. You know, so we don't. Nothing in the press release. Sorry, I can't talk. Seemed to indicate future of them as a promotion. I don't know. I would expect Tony Khan to be doing some interviews over the next days and weeks. Of course, there's a media scrum after Revolution. I'm sure this will come up. Maybe he'll illuminate illuminate if he has any plans to continue Ring of Honor past Supercard of Honor or not. And if so, what role will it fit in the larger AEW universe?
Yeah, that is the big question. Like you said, Supercard of Honor is coming up. So we already know some of the names there. Swerve, who's been reportedly signed with AEW, is going to be at Supercard of Honor. Is there a connection there? Denise Salcedo, is she now an AEW employee? Do we know these things? Probably not. But yeah, no, this is it's going to be interesting. I mean, I had sort of when we sort of talked about this over our text message, I had said maybe Ring of Honor can be, like his Friendo Club TV. This to some like another thing. Maybe he's got AEW. AEW is a very specific thing. It encompasses many genres of wrestling, but through a specific vision.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a vision for something that can be its own entity and further Ring of Honor's original sort of vision.
Yeah.
In its own way, freshening up for today. And if nothing else, he can see if there's still money to be made off that brand name as something different than AEW.
Yeah, because that brand name still does carry some weight.
Sure.
Maybe we have AEW existing as a WCW circa 2022 now. There's a lot of throwbacks to that approach to wrestling. If Tony Khan decides to continue Ring of Honor, and you mentioned going back to kind of its origins, it's the genesis of the company, the Code of Honor. We've seen Jonathan Gresham defend the Ring of Honor title after Final Battle using pure rules, which are different than your standard wrestling rules. And it's a different approach to storytelling in the ring. And maybe, at least from in one aspect, that's something they can look into. Offering up a different product, Yeah.
Maybe
with a vastly different presentation.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, his roster is really stacked. There's a ton of great independent talent out there. I mean, it's funny that there are so many different aspects of what NXT 1.0. You can sort of understand what NXT 1.0, what Triple H wanted it to be, and Tony Khan is sort of realizing all those things because he's unfettered from, the grips of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. He's got a loaded roster. He's got a stacked roster. He brings in awesome names from the independent circuit. Willow Nightingale does stuff for AEW. I don't believe is she actually signed with the company or no?
With AEW, I don't believe so. I don't think
she had the little graphic thing. But there's a ton of great names. I mean, I don't know if you're Lee Moriarty, would you rather be top dog at the new Ring of Honor, or would you rather continue to climb in AEW the way you have, knowing that you're about 3 years away from really reaching your heights there?
Yeah, I guess that's more. The thing is they're going to use is AEW can use Ring of Honor as, for lack of a better analogy,
sure, people will understand. Yeah,
AEW's NXT,
right? Yeah,
where you have Dark and Elevation that serves a very specific purpose, but if you want to tell longer form stories that you don't have time for on Dynamite and Rampage, and to help develop some of your younger talent beyond what is done on Dark and Elevation, you could do that on Ring of Honor. That name still carries weight if you focus on wrestling and telling good stories in the ring. That's going to be enough to get people watching, I think.
People will give it a shot.
Yeah,
that's at the very least. People will give it a shot. They will check it out. It's got AEW money, but it's got Khan money behind it. They will give it a shot. Now, whether or not they'll stick around depends on whether or not it's any damn good. But they'll give anything a shot these days. I mean, I remember the buzz behind when NWA started out again on YouTube.
Yeah,
there was a tremendous buzz behind that. I mean, eventually it sort of petered out because there was only so much that Billy Corben was going to do with that. And I know he's still active with NWA, and that's awesome and everything. I feel like they lost a little bit of their appeal when they went behind a paywall, because if you don't have the free audience being able to go there, it's hard to get. There's so much competition for your dollar these days.
Yes.
It's hard to get money to people to
especially once people get used to being able to ingest something for free, and then to ask them to pay for it. That's a pretty steep hill to climb.
Yeah, I mean, Jorge D here in chat brings up impact on Twitch. I have no idea what their Twitch numbers look like these days versus
you mean on YouTube?
What their YouTube numbers look like these days versus Twitch, and if that was a good move for them. I assume hopefully it was. It birthed the Smash Zone, so I like that. By the way, tomorrow night it's back, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on the twitch.tv/Stephen Larson.
Yep. So there's still obviously a lot of unknown about this whole deal beyond the tape library. Like I said, I assume that Tony Khan could be asked about it a lot.
Absolutely,
the post-revolution media scrum.
Yeah, he's probably that's going to be a heavy topic there. Absolutely, I'm sure there's probably maybe there's even a lot of unknowns, with him. Maybe possible. It's this thing. Maybe I don't know when the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted and all that, but if it's a relatively new thing. Maybe it's just in his, and he's got Revolution coming up. I mean, there's only one Tony Khan. We haven't really heard of all that many, guys surrounding him, assisting him and whatnot. Like, who's his Pat Patterson, man? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I mean, we hear about the EVPs, the Young Bucks, Kenny, offering him some advice or insight or whatever. But we don't hear about, especially from a creative standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like an inner circle.
Yeah,
around Tony Khan. Just seems like he's that.
It's just him and his notepad.
Yeah, writing stuff out.
clutching that thing in that one picture.
Yeah, I know.
Just like both arms on it.
I know. With the all out or the full gear card on it.
Yeah, just out there for everybody to see.
Yep.
All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, ExpressVPN. So Larson, I'm guessing you know this, but surfing the web without using ExpressVPN is much like using the bathroom without locking the door. Sure, odds are no one's going to barge in and see what you're doing, but there's still a chance that someone could walk in on you while you're pinching off a dude.
That's kind of gross, Steve.
Sorry, but,
Yeah, I mean, that's more or less what happens when you connect to an unencrypted network, like at a hotel, at a cafe, or on an airplane. Any hacker that is on the same network can gain access to your most sensitive personal data like passwords, financial details, and more. And they don't even need a whole lot of expensive equipment or even technical know-how to do it.
That's why I use ExpressVPN, because it creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. A tunnel so secure, it would take a hacker with a supercomputer over 1 billion years to crack.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And best of all, ExpressVPN is easy to use. You just fire up the app, click one button, and you're protected. And it works on all my devices, my phone, my laptop, my tablet, so I know I'm protected wherever I go.
Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/GIR. That's expressvpn.com/GIR, and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/GIR. So beyond that, man, just a killer go home Dynamite tonight. Probably the highlight of the show was CM Punk. Mm-hmm. We had talked about, okay, what does this mean? Tonight is MJF going to show his full card?
Yeah.
His whole card, whatever you call it.
His hand. Show his hand.
His hand, yeah. Is he going to do that? Or is he going to wait until Rebel? Well, he did it tonight.
Yeah, he did.
My God, there was a ton of blood.
There was a lot of blood. Yeah, Punk comes out feeling guilty to a degree.
Mm-hmm. He's conflicted.
He says, I fully believe what Max said. I just questioned his sincerity. He worries he's being gaslit by MJF. And so he calls MJF out, and he extends his hand. MJF doesn't shake it, hugs him.
Mm-hmm.
And Punk stands there for a bit with his arms extended, not sure what to do, then hugs him back.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that hug is released, MJF kicks Punk right in the balls,
mm-hmm.
and then a beatdown commences. One punch of the Dynamite Diamond Ring just leads to Punk bleeding all over the place, and that is when MJF basically word for word recited to Punk a promo that Punk delivered in Ring of Honor. You mentioned it was at the beginning of Summer of Punk. Are we on the verge of the summer of MJF then?
Well,
Could we see MJF win that title by All Out? At All Out.
A little bit late for the summer of MJF. I mean, Punk won it at the beginning of the summer of
Well,
Punk.
summer doesn't technically end. Oh, yeah. Yeah, summer ends in September.
I mean, look, metaphorically, yeah, sure. I think that's a possibility.
It's the summer of MJF leading to his championship win.
It's a distinct possibility. I mean, I firmly believe after we saw tonight, I don't know if you can kick up. Well, yeah, May is still a couple months away. So at what do you think the match would be? What would the match be? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Could he win it at Double or Nothing would be the summer of
That would be
MJF.
the way to kick off the summer, yeah.
That'd be the way to do it. I don't know. How do you get, if MJF loses at Revolution, I mean, look, he could win a number one contendership match on April 15th or whatever.
Yeah.
And motivate that match so he could win it at Double or Nothing.
Well, at Double or Nothing, they usually have the Battle Royal for number one contendership, don't they?
Yeah, but isn't that that's sort of the title is still defended at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying he can win the Battle Royal at Double or Nothing, and then, at one of these, either a special Dynamite or one of these weekend specials, he's Battle of the Belts. Maybe get the belt off Hangman. I don't know.
I'm thinking, no, I honestly, I would not shock you. You could absolutely be right. There could be some parallels here. He loses at Revolution, and maybe that motivates him. He's like, you know what, screw this. I don't need this anymore. I have one goal in mind, and that's the world title shot. And maybe he screws CM Punk out of what naturally could be his title shot.
Could
MJF goes on to win it at Double or Nothing.
It could be. Or, but here's another thing to consider. Wardlow.
Yeah.
Tonight, MJF told Wardlow, hey, you win the ladder match, you win the TNT title, don't worry about it. You can keep it. Mm-hmm. But then he says, it's not like you're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
This angers Wardlow. Wardlow says, yeah, I'm too busy helping you win your matches. MJF comes over, slaps him, reminds him, you're not under contract with AEW. You're under contract with me. Mm-hmm. I pay you. And don't risk that, essentially. You got to assume that Wardlow is... Well, it's either I feel like Wardlow's the odds-on favorite to win that ladder match at this juncture. It seems like Keith Lee is going to be involved with the Team Taz feud. I don't know who it's either Paige or Christian is going to be the last person in it. Mm-hmm. I feel like Team Taz is going to be worried about Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Wardlow's match to lose.
I think you're right about that. I think he does win, and I think he probably beats Sammy for that TNT title. It would not shock me at all.
Nope.
And at that point, I wonder if there's maybe some, I don't know, maybe there's some silly contract stipulation where if he wins the title, he's out of the employ of MJF. I don't know, because there is that aspect. If he turns on MJF, which has to happen at some point, there's got to be some sort of legal jargon that he can turn to, because MJF can just say, okay, fine, you're fired, you're out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, or you're in breach of contract, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm really curious about it. But yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me to see MJF pick that title up at Double or Nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's hot. I mean, this is a feud of the year right here in terms of.
It's really good. It's been really good.
Yeah,
it's been really.
I mean, we can
really
let's just kick off our recap.
Sure.
Then we can get to the beats.
Sure, we can do that. So Tony Khan opened the show with his huge announcements, and one thing I noticed about the beginning of the show, there were a ton of signs.
I love to see it.
Not quite attitude error levels of signs, but a lot of signs.
You kind of also don't want that either.
No, because then it's hard to see. It's hard to see.
Yeah, but also, no, it's an impressive sight. Some of those attitude error signs just got downright. And then some of the signs, some of the people in like the AEW crowd, even tonight, did you hear during the CM Punk promo? I didn't hear what specifically was being said, but there was somebody up there.
Yeah, I heard someone yelling. I didn't hear what they said,
we
though.
Just listen to the man talk.
I know. So Shivani's in the ring with Tony Khan. Shivani hands Tony Khan the mic, and Tony Khan says, normally I'm the one keep people on time, so I'm going to keep this brief, get the wrestling going. He thanks the crowd in attendance, fans watching at home. He says, this is the biggest week in the history of this company. He says, we got Revolution this weekend. Ahead of that show, I have a huge announcement. When we started AEW out in that parking lot. He says about 17 years before that, another company started, one called Ring of Honor.
Yeah, TNA. Oh, wait, no, Ring of Honor.
I almost thought that, too. And he says, I've been a fan of Ring of Honor for a long time, and today I signed a deal to become the new owner of Ring of Honor. He said 20 years ago, Christopher Daniels was in the company's first main event, and his opponent that night, Bryan Danielson, and I think he said they haven't wrestled since then or something like that. He was really excited. I feel like kind of nervous. So it was especially towards the end here.
I would love for him to be on camera more.
Oh,
I know he doesn't want to.
I know.
I would love to see that though.
So anyways, they're having a rematch, and that match is next.
You got it next. Daniel still has that wonky eye, man. That was ages ago. That poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know what that is. This is a lot of fun. Of course, they did the code of honor, the handshake
at the beginning
before the match. Well, Danielson did one at the end, so of course he wins. He grabs the mic, and he says, of course he wins via Daniels passing out as Bryan is flexing, his favorite thing to do.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Grabs the mic. He says, 20 years since the first Ring of Honor show. No, wait, wrong guy. He says, Daniels and myself are in the main event. At that time, we started matches with a handshake, and we ended matches with a handshake. Daniels is still passed out on the ground. He reaches down, and he picks up his hand, and he shakes his hand, and he holds it. And he said, let's hear it for Christopher Daniels. But here's the thing. I'm not in Ring of Honor. We're in AEW, and it's time to kick somebody's head in. So he grabs the other one. He starts giving a bunch of Danielson stomps. He says, this Sunday at Revolution, I'm going to stomp in Mox's head. That brings out Mox. He says, I could see that Bryan is better than ever. And I can see that he's more violent than ever. But you got it wrong. There's two paths I can walk right now. Which path will determine my future. He says, one path, get my head kicked in and I fade into oblivion. He said, but that's not what's going to happen. I'm going to walk the other path through fire and bullets and Bryan. And at the end of this path, I beat you. He says, the story of Mox is just starting. It's just beginning. And I write the first chapter on Sunday, a chapter that's going to be written in blood. Mox says, Danielson's saying he's going to stomp my head in. Well, take your best shot. And Bryan drops the mic and he starts, doing a little bit of Hulkster right here. And then he rolls out of the ring. This was a little bit surprising to me because I kind of figured that this match was going to happen straight up and that they would form this group. This right here gives me real doubts. How do you see this match going? Because
I've always had doubts this group was going to happen. It's something too good. Not that AEW doesn't give us stuff that we want and stuff that's good. They do from time to time. But at the same time, Mox does his own thing. He does. He does his own thing. Yeah, he's palled around with Eddie a little bit. If you take the Shield out of the equation, he pretty much did his own thing in WWE as well. He just does his own thing. I would be really surprised, as awesome as it sounds, to see him join a faction with Bryan Danielson and a bunch of younger talent. As awesome as that would be, the prospect of it is great. But I kind of feel like Mox is going to win on Sunday, and there's a pretty good chance that he's going to extend his hand to Bryan Danielson because Mox got what he wanted. He got a match. He bled with Bryan Danielson. Maybe he's going to this with good faith, thinking, all right, we'll have a match together. Bryan Danielson will prove his mettle to me. And if I think he measures up, then sure, we can do this. It's going to be kind of like what we saw here with Christopher Daniels with the handshake. But this time, it's going to be Bryan Danielson's going to clock Mox, upset that he lost. Faction's not going to happen.
Could be. We will see. I don't know. I'm not going to have a lot of confidence points on this match. Because I can see it both ways. I feel like Mox doesn't lose. He just doesn't. And this is I know he's had stuff since he's been back. This is his first big thing since he's been back. But Danielson also needs some wins. And I'm not 1,000% sure that he doesn't beat Mox, but he does it in a really shitty way. So I don't know. I'm going to put low confidence. We're going to do our predictions for this. I think we'll probably upload them on Saturday, I guess.
We could do them tomorrow after. We could shoot them tomorrow after.
Right. So they'll go up. Oh, shoot them tomorrow after Smashstone, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, sometime this week, you'll get our predictions, our not locked
official.
in predictions,
but
also, still.
And we also got to do our sacrifice predictions in advance of that show on Saturday. We don't have to shoot a video for that. We can just post them on Twitter or something.
Got to put our numbers up. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I could kind of see this match going either way. I'm really hesitant to bet against Mox, but at the same time, Bryan ducking out on him. I kind of wish they would have teased Bryan being more whatever the outcome of Revolution, I'd be more surprised by it had Brian not ducked Mox tonight. I feel like if he walked into Revolution acting honorable to Mox, it makes whatever's going to happen at Revolution, which you're probably right, is not going to lead to a faction, a bit more surprising, because going into this, I was like, oh, I could see them doing a thing here, After that, we had a Darby Allin and Sting promo. I love how Sting is so, like, he's starting to adopt Darby's speech pattern as opposed to Darby, him rubbing off on Darby.
I feel like Sting just woke up from a nap. That's what it sounds like.
Which is how Darby always sounds.
I know.
Sting says, heavy duty fines and suspension for anyone who's involved in the match on Rampage. No bother to me. Is it bother to you, Darby? Darby says, no, I don't need help winning the TNT title. I don't need help on Sunday. Sammy, we're going to do what we always do, steal the show. As for Rampage for the TNT title, it's showtime.
Yeah. And then we had the Casino Tag Team Royale. This was tons of fun.
This was a blast.
This was a lot of fun. So FTR out first, out second. Top Flight.
Top Flight's back.
Darius Martin has returned from injury.
Yeah.
Didn't look like he lost a step whatsoever.
Ah, man, he gained a couple steps. It was great.
It seemed like it was great. The Claims out third. 10 and Allen Angels of Dark Order out. A bunch of teams comes out. FTR eventually eliminates Allen Angels. The Pillmans are out next. FTR quickly eliminates Pillman Jr. Bear Country's out. Then Santana Ortiz. But then they quickly eliminate Bear Country. Dante Martin eliminates Max Caster. Best Friends come out. Bowens eliminates Griff Pillman.
By the way, Caster had a really funny rap tonight.
He did.
It's something about being less popular than Glenn Jacobs' tweets.
Yeah.
What was the other reference? I forgot. It was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. He just completely no-sold me calling Griff Garrison Griff Pillman.
Apologies. That's become so ingrained, I think into the show lore.
I know.
That it's just the Pillmans, yeah.
I know. So
Griff Pillman.
Evil Uno and Stu out next. 10 eliminates Blade. Dark Order then eliminate Butcher. Young Bucks are out. They get a moment with FTR where they're staring them down. FTR lowers the ropes, they're inviting them into the ring, and they're about to throw down. Everybody else jumps them. Wingmen are out next. Then Gun Club, the Bucks, and FTR team up to eliminate Gun Club. Then they start throwing down. Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson are out next. Bowens then eliminates 10. Ortiz eliminates Chuck. Uno and Stu eliminate the Wingmen, and then Bowens eliminates Stu Grayson. 2.0 the last team out. Mm-hmm. Matt Jackson eliminates Brock Anderson. Lee is eliminated as well. And then Top Flight eliminates Bowens. Uno and Trent are on the apron. Mm-hmm. So Uno's looking for a pile driver on Trent. Danhausen emerges from under the ring, puts a curse on Uno. Trent hits Uno with a half-and-half suplex. He falls to the floor. He's eliminated.
Is Danhausen going to be at the Sacramento Prestige show?
I don't know. We're going to be
the
there.
Colonial, March 13th, the Prestige Wrestling Show. I'm saying this like we're a featured act. We're not.
No, we bought tickets.
Paid tickets. We just bought tickets.
In the crowd.
We're just going to be in the crowd.
Yeah, but we'll be there. So
Sacramento.
Yeah, Santana and Ortiz, they eliminate 2.0, but then on 2.0, help FTR eliminate Santana and Ortiz. Matt Jackson eliminates Trent. So we got Young Bucks, FTR, and Top Flight, final three teams.
Kind of cool. They did it like a different way.
They did.
Last time, 4 teams were represented by one person each.
This time, yeah. So Dante eliminates Cash and himself. He does like a Hurricane Rana, turns both of them off the top rope. Matt Jackson near eliminates Dax, but then Redragon runs ringside. They distract Dax, so the Young Bucks can super kick him off the apron. He's eliminated. So you got the Young Bucks and you got Darius Martin. So Darius nearly eliminates Nick. Cutler catches him, puts it back on the apron. Young Bucks set up for a Meltzer driver. Darius pushes Matt to the ropes, knocks Nick off. He's eliminated. So it's down to Matt and Darius. So they make their way to the apron. They're brawling. Matt low blows Darius Martin, super kicks him off. Young Bucks win. Redragon hits the ring to celebrate. And then Jurassic Express and Christian just walk out on stage, and that's just kind of stand there.
Just sort of stand there, and Christian talks to him a little bit. Hell of a performance from Darius.
Yes.
That was an awesome spotlight to give him. Crowd gave him a huge response. You got to love that. a promotion that knows when they got a hot hand and they run with it. Anyways, next up we had here's another thing that I'm kind of curious about. Chris Jericho. We got a promo from him. He says this was really cheesy. He was just talking to the camera.
Let me ask you something before you get into this.
Yeah.
Is he doing this on purpose?
Define on purpose.
He's doing very WWE stagey promos to counter what Eddie does, which is the exact opposite of that.
I like to think so because I think Jericho's savvier than he knows what he's doing. I mean, he literally mentioned sports entertainment in their promo off.
Yeah.
He said the entire wrestling world is buzzing after his and Eddie's promo segment last week. He's like, Eddie, do you even know what a promo is? It's where we talk. And he says, congrats, Eddie, on finally becoming a big star. It's hard for me to relate because I've been a big star for so long and you haven't. He says, here's Eddie's chance to win the big one. Look deep down inside. Do you have what it takes to beat the influencer? Jericho doesn't think he does, but if he does, I'll shake your hand and I'll tell you that you have my respect. But if you don't, I'm going to laugh in your face. And here's where the wrinkle comes in, because you and I were both on the same page last week. Eddie's totally going to win this, right? But maybe this isn't about Eddie. Maybe this is about the guys that stepped into frame, Santana and Ortiz. They all come in, they all bump fists, and Jericho asks, are we good? He's like, I always have your backs.
But they just turn around and walk away.
They turn around and walk away, and he's just sort of left there. I wonder if, Eddie's not really the story here, and the relationship between Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho is, and how much more complex it would get if Jericho beats their guy. Because really, on the power ranking thing, Jericho should win this. He is really, I know Orange Cassidy has beat him. People have beat him before. But Eddie Kingston can't last 10 minutes against CM Punk without getting gassed. If Jericho beats Eddie Kingston, laughs in his face, how is that going to alienate XLAX? Does he want to go to that? Does he want to go there knowing that those guys are close to him? Does he think that this is going to get them on his side, not realizing it's going to alienate them? I feel like that might be the story, as opposed to Eddie wasn't even on the show tonight.
Yeah, I know, but it's entirely possible that they can do both those things during the course of the match. They can still have Eddie win and have Jericho push buttons with Eddie to the degree that he further alienates Santana and Ortiz. There's mechanisms that they can employ.
Winning and losing is the thing.
Yeah, Eddie needs a win. Eddie needs a huge win.
Okay, but here's the thing. Does he?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he does. Every time, he wins matches on Dark and Elevation, every huge match. This is basically the story between Jericho and Eddie is, Eddie, you can't win the big one. You can't do it. You can't win the huge match. You can't be a huge star. You're afraid of success. Eddie can only be the lovable loser for so long.
No, I don't think you're right.
He's got to pick up the win.
Dude, he could lose every single match he has, and he would still be the most loved guy in the company.
No, he'd be even more loved. He got some wins.
No, he'd be even more loved if he lost all the time.
No, he wouldn't. People want to see, people like Eddie, they want to see him succeed. Whether he, in story, whether he wants to see himself succeed or not, I don't know, but the fans want Eddie to get some wins. They do.
Badger Smith and Chad has it great. He needs less learns and more wins.
He does need less learns and more wins.
Says Larson hates losers. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know, man. We're going to see. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying, for me, it's not all cut and dry. Low confidence on this. Next up. CM Punk.
Oh, I might have a lot of confidence on Eddie getting that one. There's only so many matches on this card that you can have low confidence in, though, Steve.
That's the joke. That's the gimmick.
That's the problem. I was going through the card today and trying to put confidence points on stuff. I'm like, okay, there's 3 matches I feel really good about, and the rest,
Man, all confidence on Britt Baker.
Even that. Maybe
after tonight, dude. Look. There is the possibility they're going to do something on Rampage, but we thought that before. We're like, let's see what they're going to do on Rampage. And they don't. They don't address it.
Here, we'll get to that match later on.
This is the last image we saw.
It is, but the story going to this is Thunder Rosa can't beat Britt. That was what Britt's been saying. Well, tonight she proved that she can do it. Now can she repeat that? We've seen that story play out before. Anyways, next we had a CM Punk promo. Coming out, white shirt like he just borrowed it from Bryan Danielson, some jeans, some Adidas Superstars. He walks out and says, I wake up every morning, I look at myself in the mirror, and I ask myself, he says, I used to wake up every morning and look at myself in the mirror and ask myself, am I the bad guy? So I've never really had an answer, and I don't think anyone thinks they're the bad guy in their own story. Up until a week ago, I thought Max, MJF, was a bad guy, but what MJF did last week took a lot of courage. He spoke about a lot of deep things, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm being gaslit. I believe what Max said. What I question is his sincerity. And he says, there's a picture of me with Stone Cold many years ago, and he says, much lesser men frame Stone Cold as someone who took his ball and went home, but I didn't lash out at him. I didn't get upset. He said, but meanwhile, I've seen Max knock out Dean Malenko, who has Parkinson's. Max buried Brian Pillman to his son in his hometown. He heard Max talk all sorts of awful stuff about Darby's uncle. He says, here's the thing. Hurt people hurt people. Says, when I came to AEW, MJF offered his hand and I didn't shake it. Does that make me Frankenstein and MJF my monster? He says, I believe everyone is responsible for their actions, but I got to say something to Max face to face. So come on out. Let's have a conversation in front of the world. So MJF comes to the ring. Punk tells him, I've done a lot of horrible things in my life. Says, I used to be you, so full of hate. I poured alcohol down an alcoholic's throat. I poured the ashes of a wrestler's manager all over him. Named a couple other things. He says, all that hate isn't going to keep you warm. It's going to burn you up. He says, I like to think that my respect isn't given, it's earned. And right now, this is bigger than me. It's bigger than you and bigger than wrestling. It's about the 11-year-old kid at home who looks up to Max like you looked up to me. And I might be wrong, but I woke up this morning and asked myself, are you the good guy? And I finally had an answer. I sure am trying.
It's a good promo.
It's really good.
And really good promo.
So
meanwhile, there's a guy in the crowd.
I know. So he extends his hand to MJF. MJF kind of takes a step back, knocks it aside, gives Punk a huge hug.
Buries his head in his chest.
Yeah, and Punk's just kind of standing there, not sure what to do. And then finally, he hugs him back.
No teaching. Yeah.
And then as soon as that hug is released, bang, MJF kicks him right in the balls.
It's a big old swing and Punk went, my dick.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear that clear as day.
There's some guy in the crowd, his dick.
Yeah. So then MJF tosses him to the apron, hits Punk with a heat seeker. MJF takes his dress shirt off. He's got a T-shirt underneath with the picture of himself and Punk on it.
It's homemade shirt.
Yeah, the print-off iron-ons.
He got that, or he went to the mall and got it real quick. 24-hour turnaround.
Could be. So MJF calls out Wardlow and Spears. They've got the dog collar. Wardlow hands MJF the ring. He puts it on. He punches Punk, and Punk just starts bleeding buckets.
Dude, he really cut the shit out of his own head, man.
Buckets.
Yeah, it was all. You could see I hate when you see the little squirt come. Oh, yeah. It was gnarly.
Yeah. So FTR comes out to run interference on the ramp, so security couldn't get involved. And MJF is just beating the heck out of Punk. Eventually, Punk's on the floor. Spears put the dog collar around him. MJF grabs a mic and says to Punk, you stupid old man, I'm a snake. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And I'm going to show you and everybody on Sunday that I'm the devil himself.
Yeah. Ooh, good stuff. Call back to that Punk promo we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and then Sting, Darby, and Sammy run out to make the save. Because at this point, Spears is choking Punk with the dog collar.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. Well, Sammy and Darby run out to make the save. Sting meanders. He's like, these kids again. Oh, hell. After that, we had a Keith Lee interview. Lee has a tune-up match on Rampage. Of course, Ricky Starks steps in along with Big Will Hobbs, Powerhouse. He's mimicking Starks is doing a Keith Lee impression again. He's like, enough. He says, that's twice you've interrupted me, and if it happens a third time, there won't be any more of me to interrupt.
Won't be any more
to interrupt
me.
Yeah. Stark says, he says, Rampage is my country though, Lee, and it's very Western. And Hobbs says, and I'm the president. And Stark says, I'm going to give you a fair warning. If you show up on Rampage, you may not make it to Revolution. Then they back off.
Yeah. Then we had Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter taking on Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. You know, if the go-home math was going to work out in Thunder Rosa's favor, obviously the team of Britt and Hayter should have won this match. But I'm like, as soon as it started, I thought to myself, I don't see either Mercedes or Thunder Rosa eating a pin here. But at the same time, you know, like someone could eat a pin, like Thunder Rosa could pin Jamie Hayter, and then Britt gets her heat back.
Oh, do you think Mercedes is too new to eat a pin? That's what she's there. That's what she's there to do.
No, I know, but I don't know. For some reason, I just got the idea that she wasn't eating a pin tonight.
Yeah.
But it was Britt Baker that got pinned by Thunder Rosa. The Rosa hit her finish on her.
I didn't see that happen at all.
Hit her finish on her and everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty surprising. I thought maybe we'd see Thunder Rosa pin Hayter and then Britt, you know, hit her with a couple super kicks, put in the lockjaw.
I know.
None of that. No heat. No heat getting back.
No heat. Yeah, man. At this point, Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be low confidence, but I'm gonna put it on Britt.
Yeah.
All my matches low confidence.
If it only worked that way.
You know. After that, I'll find a way. Yeah. What else? So I've got a lot of confidence points on Punk. That's an easy one for me.
So a lot of confidence points for me on so Hook versus QT was announced for the kickoff. A lot of confidence there. Of course, Jade versus Ty.
Oh man, that's on principle all confidence points. I got a ton on Hangman.
Yeah, too. I got a lot on Hangman too.
That's an easy one. What else is going on in this show?
So there's also the 6-man tag match, AHFO versus Darby, Sting, and Sammy.
Oh, easy Sting, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Sting and Darby and Sammy are probably winning that. You got the tag title match, which Jurassic Express is probably going to win that because...
I would say good chance the other teams are going to sort of knock themselves out. Yeah. But again, low confidence on that one. I mean, that's going to have to be mid-confidence because I can't go low on everything.
Layla Hirsch versus Statlander on the buy-in. That one's tough.
I don't know that it is. I hate rooting for Statlander in this one because of that horrible thing she said about Layla Hirsch.
Yeah, that's true.
But I kind of feel like this has to be Statlander got the big beat down. That means she's got to get her win.
That's true. Of course, Jericho versus Kingston, the ladder match. Britt and
ladder match.
Rosa.
Yeah, I think it's a ladder match, so it's kind of nuts to go high confidence, but like upper mid confidence on Wardlow.
A lot of confidence on Wardlow.
Yeah.
Punk and MJF, and then Hangman and Cole.
Yeah. Confidence subject to change.
Of course. So after that, we had a Ty Conti and a Jay interview. Ty Conti is asked about her martial arts background. Is that going to help her? Jade steps in, and I don't remember the exact wording she used, but it's pretty funny. But she's pretty much says, "No one cares about your background." No one gives a shit about your background. I think.
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, she said, "No one gives a shit about your background."
And then,
I love Jade.
And then Ty tries to take a swing at her. Mark Sterling says, "Hey, you didn't read the fine print in the contract. If you so much as harm a hair on Jade's head, match is off."
One green hair on her head.
Yes,
the match is off. Yeah, Jade is great. I love her. After that, we had a video package for Statlander, Layla Hirsch. So somebody asked here, what did Statlander say? And quote the Raven as, it says, "No wonder your parents put you up for adoption. They didn't like you either." I'm like, that's an awfully harsh thing for a baby face to say. That's an
extremely harsh thing for a baby face to say.
Nobody cares about your karate shit.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Wardlow, thank you, Hugh Longheavy. Wardlow versus Cesar Bononi was next.
Wow, this is a quick match.
Yeah, this is quick. It was just a couple power bombs from Wardlow to get the win on Cesar. Afterwards, Spears hits the ring. He's about to swing at Bononi with the chair. Wardlow grabs the chair, yanks it out of Spears' hand. Spears steps to Wardlow. Wardlow's, what? What are you going to do? Just with a look.
I know. I thought Spears was great selling.
Oh, Spears is doing... he is so great in his role, man.
He is. He's outstanding.
Yeah.
So Spears, like, all right.
And then, of course, he snitches.
I know.
He has to go and run and tell MJF. They're so good at their stuff.
I know. So after that, we had a House of Black promo. Malachi says, "Hey, Pac, wasn't it the house that gave you new sight? Hey, Penta, wasn't the house that gave you a new level of..." And then Brody King steps in, violence. And he starts talking about violence. And then Buddy steps in, talking about judgment.
Oh, judgment.
And they don't pass judgment. They seek the truth.
We seek the truth.
They're the house. The house always wins. It's really good stuff.
The house always wins. Yeah, man. Buddy looked like a badass.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, man, that was so cool.
It was great.
After that, he looked like, what's that mariachi movie that What's-His-Face did?
Oh, Desperado?
El Mariachi.
El Mariachi. One
but
before
yeah,
that
Desperado.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That was the one after Desperado.
Rodriguez?
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez.
He directs a lot of episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He made some dog shit movies back in the day.
Yep.
I know people like the Spy Kid stuff, but those were the ugliest movies. Those were horrible films, man. The Sin City stuff was all right.
Yeah.
Visually, it did a good job adapting the book. the Miku says those episodes were bad. Did he do the Scooter Gang episode?
I think he did. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Revealed the real reason why that episode sucked.
You got to that one, huh?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but according to
gosh.
Twitter, that episode is just awful.
It is. It's so cheesy. It's so cheesy.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
He did a lot of especially the early episodes. He did a lot of them, I believe.
That's funny.
So we have a Wardlow Spears interview. So Spears is like, "Hey Wardlow, I know you're mad. I still love you." He says, "MJF, come in." So MJF steps in. Says, "Hey Wardlow, you can win the ladder match. You can win the TNT title. I don't care. You can keep it. It's not like you're gonna win it anyways." And that's when Wardlow says, "It's not. Well, maybe it's because I'm always making sure that you get your wins." MJF steps back in, slaps him. Here again reminds him, "You don't work for AEW. You work for me."
Your camera froze. I wish that instead of Wardlow saying what he said to MJF, that it would have cut to like later in the day. He's in his car and he says it there. Maybe that's because I'm always making sure you get your wins. Yeah, well, the jerk store called.
They're all out of you.
And then we had our main event: Adam Cole and Redragon versus Hangman Adam Page and his lumps, the Dark Order. He really needs to upgrade his friends, man, because they did not really help him out that much in this match.
No, it's a fun bout. It's fun bout.
Yeah,
Illuminated.
It was fun.
Illuminated the go home math here. Solidified the idea that Hangman Page is walking out of Revolution still with that AEW title. It's kind of already leaning that way, but now I feel really strongly about that.
Yeah.
Because Adam Cole got the pin on Alex Reynolds, I believe, after some super kicks hit the boom. Afterwards, though, Redragon goes after Hangman. He fights them off. He's looking for a buckshot lariat on Cole. Instead, Bob Fish trips him up off the apron. Cole's laying into Page. Then Redragon duct tapes him to the ropes. And so they put Silver back in the ring. Redragon hit him with total elimination. Cole hits Alex Reynolds with a Panama Sunrise. Adam Cole tries to get in Page's face. Page headbutts him. Cole responds with a couple super kicks. He grabs the title. He tells Page, "This belongs to me," but then he puts it over Adam Page's shoulder.
That dude was just pawing that title.
I know.
Pawing it, man. This is a good point here. A whole bunch of numbers. I don't know, maybe. Says, do the Young Bucks help Hangman retain?
Depends what happens in the tag team match.
I know. What if Redragon wins those titles by not necessarily cheating, but opportunistic, which could be, a turnoff to some people. And then in the main event, Young Bucks they just make sure that things go down clean.
Yeah. I think that's
they
more
just
likely.
Equalize.
Yeah.
They equalize.
Or it could be a situation where the Young Bucks are on the verge of winning, Redragon breaks up the pin or whatever, pushing, shoving. That eventually leads to Jurassic Express retaining, and the same thing could play out.
Yeah, possibly. George Christopher asks, what was Punk referencing when he said, "I poured alcohol down an alcoholic's throat"? That was... Well, Jericho did that to him, but that was probably a reference to Raven. Okay, there you go. Raven. Okay. Oh, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Probably did it. Punk is such a self-referential guy.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. And then did he do it to Jeff Hardy too?
Maybe. Because the Ashes one obviously is a reference to The Undertaker.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Raven Mitch. Jeff Hardy says was when he bullied him to get fired. All right. Anyways, you see, this is the thing. We got to get Ring of Honor on Habo Max.
I know.
So, when I'm done with season 2, episode 13 of The Wire, flip over to Punk versus Raven or something. I don't know.
There we go.
Oh, AFG says it was a dog collar match against Raven Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Joe says, for some reason, I thought Punk poured alcohol down Shawn Michaels' throat. What is this, We Book Raw? Can we steal that idea, please?
That'd be something.
All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to have some highlighted ones here in the Twitch chat. We also have a couple of questions right here on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Here we go. Kicking off with sorry, we already answered a lot of these sort of just in the general course of
all right, Shane's birthday tweet. Does Ty have a better ceiling in AEW than NXT? Do you see her getting a chance to win gold, or will she get lost in the shuffle behind other wrestlers like she did in WB NXT? She's improved leaps and bounds since coming to AEW.
She has improved quite a bit. I don't know where she fits in the grand scheme of things, like where she's going to be 3 years from now. It's really hard to tell. Something tells me they're going to be signing some really great talent in the women's division. I mean, you got a ton of free agents out there that are just killer wrestlers. Mm-hmm. And unless they introduce like another title or like a women's tag titles, like the women's tag titles would be perfect for like Anna Jay and Ty Conti,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But unless they're going to, well, they already have an issue finding time for the women's division. So I just don't know that she is going to be able to sort of stay relevant for the next couple of years enough to get like a title run. If we're talking about a title run, I don't know that that's the case because it's kind of rarefied air. Jade's going to have her title for a long time. Britt's probably going to hold on to her title. I mean, I would think maybe she'll lose it at Double or Nothing, but I don't know. After Thunder Rosa, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Jorge D asked Steven Larson, how would you guys be way better friends to Hangman Page than Dark Order?
Oh, man. I think that the Dark Order are really good friends. It's just they don't have the in-ring ability of, for example, Adam Cole's friends.
That's the thing. I don't think we can help Page in that respect. In fact, we're a massive step down from John Silver and Alex Reynolds because we don't
strictly
wrestle.
In-ring ability.
Massive step down.
I'll suggest this though. We're probably less annoying than them.
It depends on one's perspective, I think.
I see all those being the Elite promos. He doesn't seem like they just seem. I feel like he is able to hang out with them for literally the amount of time that we see in those being the Elite things, and that's kind of it because they're just a clown act. Well, you and I would just kick back, have some beers, and I kind of feel like that's what Hangman would prefer to do. Not a lot of talking. Hey, you need some advice on being a dad? None of those lumps in the Dark Order have your back. We do. I feel like we could be better friends. Yeah. But like if it comes to the in-ring, buddy, I'm sorry. You're on your own.
Yeah.
We have a friend, Cal Jack. Mm-hmm. We'll introduce you to Cal Jack. He got your back in the ring.
Yeah. There you go.
And Simon Miller.
There you go. Lou NYC, Jericho's promo with him saying that he'll show respect to Kingston if he loses reminds me of Cesaro/Claudio in Kingston's respect match in Shakara. Is it possible that AEW used Sunday's match as a way to bring in Cesaro to feud with Kingston and maybe be a new member in the inner circle as a wrinkle between Jericho and LAX?
I don't hate that pairing of Cesaro and Jericho because Jericho at this point is like 70% personality, 30% wrestling.
That's generous.
And Cesaro's like 95% wrestling, 5% personality.
I mean, generous on the side of generous. You give a generous percentage in terms of wrestling.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying on the flip side of that, Cesaro's like 95% wrestling and 5% personality.
Maybe if WWE he was able to drop. Apparently, he's really good at dad jokes.
I know, dude.
That'll help
get over. No, it ain't. That's gonna be worse. I don't care what you can do in the ring. Get out of here with that shit. It's terrible. I don't know. I think people liked him on the up, down, down stuff. Yeah. I saw somebody. It was fun. I shouldn't say this. I saw on Twitter somebody put together like a supercut of his best moments on up, down, down. And I was like, literally everybody in these moments that isn't him is funnier than he is. But people love him, and I guess that's great. That's awesome. I think he's a terrific wrestler.
He is.
It's just personality. I'm like, he's like a step away from vacant.
Wow.
For me.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I know.
Wow.
We don't do interviews here, so it's not like you're going to run into him. And I'm sure in person he's probably great. He's probably an awesome person.
Yeah.
Like, who am I? I'm a piece of shit. I shouldn't be saying these things.
Shouldn't.
But like on my TV screen, I'm just commenting on what I see on my TV screen.
You just yell at your TV these things like an old man yelling at a cloud, huh?
Yeah, it is exactly. It's how I live my life. I was on my walk today. People think I'm nuts. Going around yelling at squirrels, road signs, speed bumps.
Shaking your fist at squirrels for having the temerity to run in front of you.
Right? Not picking up my dog shit.
Yeah, that's something you got to work on, man.
I'm already too old to change my ways. El Blanco
That's not
Noche.
True at all.
We'll have to continue this. El Blanco Noche says on the last AEW Dark, Lee Johnson was introduced as part of the Nightmare family, which apparently is still a thing.
Wow.
How would you repackage Lee and Brock Anderson with Arn?
Well, I think they kind of did that tonight. Arn came out with them.
How about but give him some vignettes where Arn is just thoroughly depressed. He's got the flask, and they're like, "Hey, Arn, come on, are we gonna go to? Let's do some of those great, reps. Let's go do some practice, and you can get us in the circle of people beating us up and stuff." And he's like, "What does it matter? You guys are losers."
All right.
Wow, Dad, shut up, Brock.
You'll never be me in the ring,
Let's watch some tape with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. And they're like, he puts in a tape and is like, Golden Girls. It's great. It's Matlock.
It's Golden Girls. He hears a theme. He starts crying because he misses his friend Cody. Slick Rob, would Samoa Joe be better served going back to Impact and immediately elevating the main event scene, or going to AEW and having to deal with an already stacked roster?
So somebody in the comments yesterday said, I feel like Steve wants everybody who gets released to go to AEW. I have said so many times, AEW's roster is too stacked. Stop signing people. I'd actually prefer to see Claudio go to either New Japan or Impact. I want Samoa Joe in AEW. He is the one exception that I'm totally fine with. Samoa Joe wrecking people in AEW. I would love to see that. I think it's perfect for him. Perfect.
It'd be a lot of fun.
All of the old Ring of Honor people are there. They're literally Ring of Honor now.
Yeah, no, pretty much. They're pretty much Ring of Honor 2006.
Yeah.
From 2006 to 2012, pretty much.
Yeah.
They just need to get Kevin Steen and El Generico, and then, and Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
Nigel McGuinness.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Noble.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah.
Raven. Let's see here.
Of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. People are saying Tyler Black.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, probably isn't going to happen.
Good luck with that. Let's see here. So for our Patreon, I'll give them a shout out here. Soken Rose, Brendan Monroe, David Matushek, of course. Well, the Enforcer, I'm actually going to ask this one. This is a good question. These are all good questions, but we've already talked about this stuff sort of ad nauseum. Dog Authority Figure. All ask questions about Ring of Honor. Mayor of Planet Houston. All ask questions about Ring of Honor. The Yellow Flash. The Yellow Flash asks, could you see a scenario where Khan brings in Cody to run the creative team of Ring of Honor? No, I don't. I think they parted ways. I don't think Tony Khan is interested in paying what Cody would want just to run Ring of Honor. I don't know that Cody would want to run Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably a huge step down for him, given that AEW is on TBS and TNT.
Yeah.
WWE is on Fox and USA, so he can go there. I think if he's going to be in the wrestling business, he's still going to want to wrestle.
Yeah.
And he's going to want to do it on a big stage.
Yeah,
so no, I don't see
largest
that.
platform possible.
Let's see here. Enforcer asked, where does the Ring of Honor title fit into the AEW hierarchy of belts? Above the TNT title, below? I would say below the TNT title, because that title is the AEW. Like Ring of Honor is not. We don't even know what's happening with Ring of Honor. Like the title's out there, and Gresham's awesome.
Yeah, Gresham's awesome. Putting on some awesome matches. I'd say it's pretty close to the TNT title. Yeah, because the Ring of Honor title's got a damn impressive lineage.
Yeah, like so does the NWA title.
Yeah.
By that logic, Matt Cardona, the NWA champion, is almost the TNT champion.
Well, the NWA title hasn't really been relevant in like on a massive mainstream level for a very long time.
Same could be said about the Ring of Honor title.
I just feel like at this juncture, the Ring of Honor title has more cachet than the NWA title does.
Yeah, well, not by much. Hopefully maybe they'll turn that around. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Twitch chat, stick around. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, talk to you later.
Goodbye.